Joanna Duggar has flaunted her bare legs in a new photo that goes against her conservative parents' moral code. The former Counting On star has broken away from her family's strict dress rules. Joanna shared a sentimental snap of her family for Mother's Day. The 26-year-old and her husband, Austin Forsyth, 30, share 3 children, Gideon, 6, Evelyn, 3, and Gunnar, 9 months. The group all gathered in a mock backyard setting, in front of a brown fence. Gideon and Evelyn flanked their mom on either side, while Austin stood in the back with one hand in his pocket. Joanna smiled wide as she held up baby Gunnar for all to see. Everyone could also see Joanna's short skirt, which flaunted her bare legs, while a pair of sandals showed off her feet. The reality star captioned it with a simple message of, Mother's Day 2024. Right to bare arms. While Joanna showed off her legs in the Mother's Day photo, earlier this month she showed off her shoulders and arms. The reality star posted an Instagram video to promote Luxmary's sculpting bodysuit after welcoming her 3rd child last May. The video first showed Joanna holding up the viral bodysuit as she warned fans not to be fooled by its small size. The reality star wore a pink tank with blue jeans that she could not button or zip up. However, after putting on the slimming bodysuit, the mom of 3 was fully able to zip her jeans and even had extra room in the waistband. Joanna put her curves on full display in the skin-tight garment, which, with its spaghetti strap design, also showed off her arms. I haven't been able to confidently wear a lot of my favorite jeans since before having kids. I never really saw myself as a bodysuit kind of girl, but I'm officially hooked, the 19 kids and counting alum wrote in the caption. It is still comfortable and no bulge when I sit down in it. Finding her own joy. Joanna's outfit choices completely flout the strict lifestyle imposed by her dad Jim Bob Duggar, 58. According to the Duggar family rules imposed by Jim Bob and her mom Michelle Duggar, 57, daughters of the family weren't allowed to wear immodest clothes, including pants. Some of the guidance went even further, suggesting that they shouldn't have social media, consume modern entertainment, or even share front-facing hugs. The standards were instilled by the controversial teachings of the Church Institute of Basic Life Principles, IBLP, which Joanna and her family have been a part of. Joanna, as well as a few of her other siblings, however, often defy their parents' strict rules. Joanna Duggar Forsyth stood in front of the mirror in her bedroom, adjusting the hem of her dress. She took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The dress she had chosen for the new family photo was a departure from the modest attire she had grown up wearing. It was a simple, floral-patterned mini dress, but to her, it symbolized so much more. Joanna had always respected her father, Jim Bob Duggar, and his rules about modesty. Growing up in a conservative household, she had learned to dress in long skirts and high-neck tops, always careful to maintain the family standards of modesty. But now, as a married woman and mother of 2, Joanna felt a growing desire to express her individuality and make her own choices. Today was the day of the annual Duggar family photo, a tradition that had been upheld for as long as she could remember. This year, however, Joanna had decided to challenge the status quo. She knew it wouldn't be easy. Her father was a staunch believer in his values, and any deviation from them was often met with disapproval. As she finished getting ready, her husband, Austin Forsyth, walked into the room. He took one look at her and smiled. "You look beautiful," he said, giving her a reassuring hug. "Thank you," Joanna replied, feeling a little more confident. "Do you think it's too much?" Austin shook his head. "Not at all. You have the right to wear what makes you feel comfortable and happy. I'm proud of you for making this choice." Joanna smiled, grateful for Austin's support. She knew that having him by her side made a world of difference. Together, they gathered their 2 children, Gideon and Evelyn, and headed out to the Duggar family home. When they arrived, the yard was already bustling with activity. Siblings, spouses, and grandchildren were scattered around, preparing for the photo. Joanna spotted her father near the front porch, talking to some of her brothers. She took a deep breath and walked over to him, Austin by her side. "Hey, Dad," she greeted him with a smile. Jim Bob turned to her, his eyes immediately scanning her outfit. There was a moment of silence, and Joanna could see the surprise in his expression. "Joanna," he said slowly, "that's an interesting choice of dress." She nodded, maintaining her smile. "Yes, it is. I wanted to wear something that I feel comfortable in." Jim Bob's brow furrowed slightly. "You know our family's values about modesty, Joanna." "I do, Dad," she replied, keeping her tone respectful but firm. "But I'm an adult now, and I have my own family. I want to make my own decisions about how I dress." Jim Bob was silent for a moment, clearly processing her words. Joanna could see the conflict in his eyes. She knew how deeply he believed in his values, but she also hoped he could understand her perspective. After what felt like an eternity, Jim Bob sighed. "Joanna, you've always been a strong-willed and independent thinker. I suppose I should have expected you to push the boundaries eventually." He looked at Austin, then back at Joanna. "I may not agree with your choice, but I respect that it's your decision to make." Joanna felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you, Dad. That means a lot." Jim Bob nodded, a small smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "Let's get this photo taken. We don't want to keep everyone waiting." As the family gathered for the photo, Joanna noticed some of her siblings casting curious glances her way. She smiled at them, feeling a newfound sense of freedom and confidence. This was her life, and she was ready to live it on her own terms. The photographer called for everyone to find their places, and Joanna stood between Austin and her sister Jessa. As the camera clicked, capturing the moment for posterity, Joanna couldn't help but feel proud of herself. This small act of defiance was a step toward defining her own identity and embracing the woman she was becoming. After the photo session, the family mingled in the yard, catching up and enjoying each other's company. Joanna found herself in conversation with her sister Duggar, who had also faced scrutiny for her more modern fashion choices. "I'm so proud of you, Joy," Duggar said, giving her a hug. "It takes courage to stand up for yourself." "Thanks, Duggar," Joanna replied. "It wasn't easy, but it feels right." As the sun began to set and the family started to disperse, Joanna felt a deep sense of satisfaction. She knew there would still be challenges ahead, but today she had taken an important step toward living her truth. And with her family by her side, she was ready to face whatever came next.